there's a period, and you know this is from assets in general, that there's bear market rallies they're called rip your face off rallies for a reason.
Absolutely.
So it's my belief that that's what we're in right now, which is one of the questions on that question thing that you had. But yeah, ultimately I've had the view that we're going to go to 12 to 13, and ultimately I actually have a view we'd probably go down to 9.
Bitcoin still risks considerable danger in 2023 as macroeconomic conditions dictate price action. That is according to economist Lynn Alden, who in private comments on Cointelegraph cautioned on Bitcoin staying bullish after its January gains. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, founder and chief market strategist at InTheMoneyStocks.com and verified crypto investing Gareth Soloway updates about Bitcoin's current market standing, the final bottom in crypto, and his outlook for Bitcoin in 2023.
The risk management is everything for a trader, right? So, I mean, like we talked about a little while ago, if you make money on 7 out of 10 trades, you're a Hall of Famer. But if on your 8th trade you lose everything you made in your first 7, then what's the point, right? So, this is you're absolutely right. I mean, everyone wants what's the simple direction? Just tell me where it's going. Not like, if it goes here, that's great, and that's what I think is going to happen. But if it breaks this level, that's a technical breakdown. And so, one of the things I always tell people is, like, people always ask me for technical levels as well. And even with technical levels, it's not quite as simple because there's a time factor involved in levels, right? So for instance, if we come down, let's say $20 is a technical support. Let's say we come down to $20.50 on a chart, and then you start making a bear flag just above $20. I'm not going to like $20 anymore because now you have a bear flag just above that level, and there's too much risk you can flush right through. So people have to understand that it's not as simple as kind of black and white in trading, and you need to be kind of looking at these other factors. So you're absolutely right. That does happen.
Optimism is increasing throughout crypto as BTC USD broadly retains levels, which are 40% higher than at the start of the year. What the rest of 2023 may hold, however, is still a topic of debate, and Alden suggests that it is naive to assume that the good times will continue unchecked. The reason, she says, lies in the United States lawmakers and the Federal Reserve. I expect the BTC bottom to be a process, she summarized about the current state of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so one of the things to note on Bitcoin is that you had this trend line that started right at the FTX high, and I have to call this the FTX high just because right here is where the decline began when FTX began to be uncovered as a fraud, right? So what I was following was this trend line here, and then this one to the downslope, right? And once we broke above it, that's really where you got this kind of short squeeze, asset values, again, kind of this re-energizing of buying pressure in Bitcoin. But what I said earlier, we touched on it, is look at where price stalled out, right at that technical level. So now you have a little bit of a pullback. Now, for me, this is a scenario I'm watching closely. Like, overall, my macro view is still that Bitcoin likely hasn't bottomed. My macro view, the reason I think that is that I've never seen a bottom in an asset where there's so quickly so much bullishness. And I flip on Twitter and some of the influencers everyone is just so bullish so quickly. Usually, if you go back to the 2009 lows in the stock market or the .com lows, the first 30% move up off of the lows, everyone is very scared. And you're not seeing that yet, at least to me, I'm not seeing that panic. And so, there are things like that. The other thing that bothers me about Bitcoin potentially being already at a bottom, and why I think it's not, is that the Fed stopped printing money and they're actually sucking money out of the system. Every previous bear market in Bitcoin saw an 80 to 85% decline with stimulus, with low interest rates, right? Since 2009, the Fed was always doing QE. So it's hard for me to get my brain around how the Fed could stop QE, suck money out of the system, yet somehow the bear market in Bitcoin would be less than previous bear markets. So there's a few different things here. The other thing would be also the downtrend. If you zoom out on this chart, this is the bounce everyone's getting excited about. Now, if it was all the way up here, yes, at that point there's a break in trend, but we still haven't had a major break in trend yet. And so I want to see price prove itself before I start getting. Right. So for me, there'll be buy levels. There'll be a swing trade, quick swing trade. If we pull back, let's see here. Let's say Bitcoin dumps back to about 18,500. I could play that for a quick bounce. Then you have this level here and eventually double bottom. These are just quick little trading opportunities.
The recovery has effectively removed any trace of the FTX debacle from the chart, with BTC USD now circling its highest levels since mid-August. The FTX Alameda collapse pulled down the industry in the second half of Q4, even as many other assets rallied, equities, gold, etc. And now it seems that Bitcoin is playing a bit of catch-up and getting back to where it would have been without the FTX Alameda collapse occurring, Alden continued.
Things I would say to you too is that just like you said before, you have to be ready to pivot. And so one of the things a good trader is doing is watching what type of pattern formation is created off of this. So for instance, keeping a very close eye on whether or not, and let me put this in here, parallel channel, right? Like, is this the beginning of bullish consolidation? Like, if we stay inside of this consolidation, let's say for another week or two, then honestly, I would agree with you. Then that's the chart telling you it's going to go higher. And so, yes, right now I'm into saying, okay, we don't have a bull flag yet, so we could pull back, but that may change. And I may say, okay, time to hop long here for a move up to, next resistance would be 22.5. Then the big one is going to be around 25,000.
The Fed is currently conducting quantitative tightening, removing liquidity from the economy to fight inflation after several years of mass liquidity injections, which began in March 2020. These are being migrated thanks to U.S. domestic policies, but later on, the status quo could shift back to the kind of restrictive mood seen throughout Bitcoin's bear market year of 2022.
Yeah, so that comes, the 9 to 10K target comes from my thought of comparing FTX to the Lehman Brothers collapse. A lot of similarities. One was a bank, one was an exchange, but they both house money. And we saw that in 2008 when Lehman Brothers collapsed, the stock market had about 6 months left of downside to it and about a 45% drop. So from where FTX began to collapse, if you subtract about 45% off, you get right around that $10,000, $9,000 level. In addition, I think that would be a max pain level, that if we broke 10K, a lot of kind of these hodlers, these Bitcoin maxis, they would get to that max pain where they would potentially throw in the towel. And usually bear markets, they get people, the majority of these people, to kind of throw in the towel. And so that to me is a max pain point that I think would be also interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think that overall that would also put us in the range of, being 80 to 85% off the all-time highs that match up with previous cycles.
In the long term, however, Alden is confident that Bitcoin will recover from its recent lows for good. I do think this is a deep value accumulation zone for BTC with a 3 to 5 year view, but traders should be aware of the liquidity risks in the second half of this year, she concluded.
Here's your 12 to 13,000 level, which is absolutely a big level right here, right? So this area right in here is absolutely, I agree, that's going to be a big support area. So if we get down there, I would expect a significant bounce. The 10K level comes in right with this area right in here. So you have this area down here, all this support down in that range. I also think that if I remember correctly, there was also an interesting trend line. I've just got to see if I can match this up. But this upsloping trend line from before the 2017 bull run to this area, to the COVID low, that line is coming up towards that 9 to 10K level over the next 6 months as well. So there's a couple different confluences of levels right in that vicinity. This is a bottom. A good trader will notice the change in trend and then look for pullbacks to start to buy. And again, that's why I don't believe that there's ever any such thing as, oh, I missed the boat, right? So there's always, every asset always gives you opportunities, whether it's through bull flags or through retraces to previous breakout levels. And so again, the beautiful thing about it too is that, and you know this as well, is that as a trader, there's always another opportunity as well. So, if you don't participate in Bitcoin, there's going to be natural gas, or there's going to be, gold, or there's going to be a stock, or, any of these type of things. So again, I think people need to be reminded of that, because people always get so hung up on like, oh, I missed that boat, now I have to revenge trade and try to make it back. You don't have to do that. There's always another trade.
So what are your thoughts about Gareth Soloway's prediction? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.